Hello, friends. Welcome to Multiverse section of Akul Mac Business Channel. And today we are going to bring about the Lalande star. I mean, it's a very strange name. I mean, you know that. And sixth most interesting fact about Lalande star, which is very close by. So we are right now exploring the close by stars around sun. So to examine Lalande star, which is also known as Gliese 411, let's get into our imaginary spaceship and let's get into the orbit of Lalande star. So here we are actually in our spaceship and we are in the orbit. As you can see, this is a live feed and you can see Lalande star moving around. So what is so strange about this star? And from the appearance of it, it looks like a red dwarf, of course, but then it is not like any other red dwarf. So let's find out. Well, Lalande star is apparently the brightest red dwarf in the northern hemisphere. So even though red dwarf emit very little light, we know that already because they are much smaller than our sun, which is also yellow star. See, red dwarfs emit light mostly in the infrared spectrum, but in spite of that, this red dwarf is the brightest red dwarf in the northern hemisphere. So this is why this is quite strange. And when we say it is brightest, probably it is also having a lot of energy in it. So I'm sure this star is not like any other red dwarf. It may be more energetic red dwarf. So let's move ahead on our journey. Well, it is right now about 8 plus light years away from sun, but it is moving moving towards sun, and in about 20,000 years it would have reached its closest estimated point of 4.65 light years from sun. And then at that distance the star will look much bigger and much brighter. And if humanity is around at that time, there will be a better opportunity to examine Lalande star, because it will be much closer. It will be as close as Alpha Centauri, if you want to have a comparison in terms of distances. Now, why this called Lalande star? Because this star has been named after the astronomer who discovered the star way back in 1857. He was a French astronomer. His name was Frederick Wilhelm Arge Lander. So Lalande is the name of the astronomer, and that is why Lalande has been given name to the star. In French, la basically is attached before a noun. So the Lalande, so La Lalande, basically that's the name of this star. It was discovered by this astronomer in 1857, and this is the photograph of this gentleman who discovered this Lalande star, which is also known as Gliese 411. Well, it is a typical red dwarf. However, the mass of this red dwarf is almost like half of the mass of the sun. So it is pretty large from the red dwarf standards. It has a lot of mass, and because of this extra mass, obviously it will have more energy. It is a red dwarf. It burns pretty much like any other red dwarf, but it has more punch and it has more energy, and consequently it will also have more gravity. So the surface gravity of this compact star is twice the gravity of our sun. Now you would say the sun is much bigger, but how come a small body has twice the gravity of sun? So we are only talking about the surface gravity here. The sun is pretty big. So when you land on the surface of the sun, you experience certain gravity, and that gravity is distributed because of the large surface area of the sun. So when you go to this small body which has 50% of the mass of the sun, you will feel more gravity because this is a small body, and when you land on the surface area of this body is much less than the surface area of the sun, and because of that you experience more gravity. And because of this, you experience twice the gravity. That means if you're able to go to sun and stand there, or even walk there, or lie down there, and suppose you weigh 100 kgs on the surface of the sun, on Lalande star you will weigh 200 kgs, even though it's a red dwarf and it's much smaller. It's almost 14 times smaller than sun, but it has 50% of the mass, so it's a very compact body. And we have found 3 planets around Lalande star. One of the planet which is very close to the star, it is almost touching the outer layers of the star, and it goes around very quickly around the star. So it is a very hot, scorching surface on that planet. But the other 2 planets are far away from the star. They are in the ice zone basically, and everything is rocky, everything is charred, because this star is also a flare star because of the the gravity it has and all the mass that it has. It flares up once in a while, and it basically for few minutes these flares, and then it char everything in the solar system, including these planets. So once in a while these all these planets are basically showered with this very high energy particles from the star. And even though the other 2 planets that we have found are very far off from the star in the outer region of the solar system, still they get charred by the activity of this star. So friends, this is something that I wanted to bring to you today in our multiverse section, and hope you enjoyed watching these interesting facts about Lalande star. And share your thoughts, share if you know something more about what I have informed you. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will meet you with another celestial body tomorrow in multiverse. Until then, I'd like to say goodbye. Bye bye.